move this pretty quickly.
All right, Mr. Romsky, go.
Yep. Okay. And good afternoon and welcome to all for the October meeting of the Finance Committee. I don't know the protocol. I think we're okay, but Sarah, do we need to do any type of intro or anything with the executive order or the law or anything, or we're okay with that?
No, we don't. There is a law that was signed into effect in September that allows us to meet by video conference at locations that are not open to the public. So if you'd like, Mr. Chair, I can read the roll and we can move on.
Good. Well, read the roll.
Okay.
Good to go.
We have with us our board chair, Al Carney, Janice McKinney, John Johnson, Joan Sullivan, John Gardner, Ken Evans, and the New York City office is also conferenced in for the record since that was noticed in the public notice. And then for DASNY staff, we have Ruben McDaniel, Nadine Fontaine, Portia Lee, Kim Ellis, Caroline Griffin, Paul Koopman, Ricardo Salomon, Steve Kozier, Alex Sardine, Matt Bergen, Dina Amodio, Maria Carrasco, Diane Folletti, and myself. And
well, thank you very much. Thank you. I should start charging admission for Finance Committee soon, right? Anyway, so first up on the agenda, the adoption of the meeting minutes from the September meeting of the Finance Committee. Can I please get a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
So moved, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Seconded, Janice McKinney.
Thank you, Janice, very much. Nice to hear your voice. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, that motion carries. We only have one, unless Portia will correct me, because I'm doing this from my memory, Portia, but we have one offering on the agenda, which is the SUNY bond program, I think is the correct
Yep,
name?
you got it, Jerry.
Thanks very much, Portia. And it's a refunding, and Gerard was presenting it, or
presented by Steve Kozier.
Steve. Sorry, Steve. I went with my own name there, so I apologize. Thanks very much, Steve. Take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, all. The Finance Committee is being asked to recommend the full board to adopt documents on behalf of the State University of New York Dormitory Facilities Revenue Bonds Program to refund all or a portion of various DASNY bonds, including bonds issued under the old State University Dormitory Facilities Lease Revenue Bond Program and the new SUNY Dorm Program in an aggregate amount not to exceed $700 million. The Residence Hall Program is a self-supporting program of SUNY, generating revenues from over 450 residence halls on 25 campuses to support its operations, maintenance, and debt service. You will recall that the DASNY board adopted two separate and distinct resolutions in 2020 on behalf of the SUNY Dorms program. At the March 4th, 2020 DASNY board meeting, the board adopted documents on behalf of the SUNY Dorm program for refunding with a not to exceed amount of $440 million. Bonds have not been issued under those March 2020 resolutions. The other financing for the SUNY Dorms program that the board adopted documents for in 2020 was a restructuring transaction presented at a special board meeting held on June 3rd, 2020. In July of 2020, DASNY issued bonds under those resolutions adopted in June to provide cash flow relief to SUNY by refunding all of the SUNY Dorms debt service due in SUNY fiscal years 2021 and 2022. This transaction being proposed is simply a refunding for savings, which will supersede and replace the March 2020 refunding approval. The refunding approved in March of 2020 was placed on hold at that time as SUNY assessed and responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. In March of 2020, campuses transitioned from in-person classroom instruction to distance learning. Each SUNY campus has been open fully since the fall 2020 semester with the curriculum delivered either in person, virtually, or a combination of both. Prior to COVID-19, dorm occupancy averaged 95% from fall 2016 through fall 2019. In the fall of 2020, the occupancy rate dropped to approximately 63% due to the impact of COVID-19. Feedback SUNY has received from its campuses thus far indicates a significant bounce back in utilization for fall 2021, however, still below pre-COVID-19 utilization. For fiscal year 2020, the SUNY dormitory facilities generated total revenues of approximately $572 million, and total expenditures were approximately $350 million, which resulted in a debt service coverage ratio of approximately 1.34 to 1. With respect to the proposed refunding plan, the final maturity of the refunding bonds will not exceed the final maturity of the bonds being refunded, and the bonds are currently expected to be issued on a taxable basis. However, if tax-exempt advance refundings with a forward delivery were economically advantageous, or if tax law changes to permit tax-exempt advance refundings with standard delivery, the financing may include tax-exempt issuance. The refunding may therefore result in net present value savings of approximately $45.6 million, which is approximately 7.8% of the bonds being refunded. In addition, current market dynamics may provide the ability to further enhance potential savings for SUNY using a tender and exchange offer. If utilized, the tender and exchange offers would qualify as current refundings and would occur concurrently with the proposed refunding. The level of incremental savings realized by the tender and exchange would depend on market dynamics and the level of participation by existing bondholders. Regarding security for the issuance, pursuant to the Enabling Act, SUNY executed an assignment to DASNY of all rights in dormitory facilities revenues. SUNY is required to immediately deliver such revenues to the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance for deposit in the Dormitory Facilities Revenue Fund. Monies are first used to pay debt service. The amounts remaining in the fund after payment of debt service is available to SUNY to fund operations and maintenance of dormitory facilities. Currently, bonds under the old SUNY dorm program have a first lien on these revenues. This refunding for savings is expected to defease all bonds outstanding under the old SUNY dorm program, which will place bonds issued under the new SUNY dorm program in the first lien position. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate that. Any questions or concerns from any of the Finance Committee members or any of the other board members who may be on the call?
This is John Johnson.
Hello, John.
You know, I believe you said that the campus centers are indicating a higher utilization rate than last year, but not up to the previous occupancy rate. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And just this week, the State University indicated that it had its enrollment statewide had declined rather significantly.
That's right. So, yeah, so you're right. The total SUNY enrollment has declined significantly. The campuses that are part of the dorm program, the 25 campuses, those overall enrollment have declined as well, not as much as the entire 64 campus, all 64 campuses. However, the dorms are expected to have an increase in utilization due to the additional in-person learning opportunities provided this fall, with more students returning to campus to do their learning rather than do it remotely or virtually.
So Steve, it's Al. These are numbers that they've already been able to pretty much confirm. I mean, we're into October. They have a sense based on, based on occupancy, that the campuses that support student housing or that have student housing are seeing a return of those students at a rate that is higher than those campuses that don't have student housing. Is that sort of the general thinking that they're exercising?
Right. So there was a decline in enrollment in this current fall semester. And however, the utilization of the dorms is expected to increase from fall 2020.
Got it.
Because more of the classes are being offered in person as opposed to virtually, which is driving the bringing back of students into the dorm.
Got it. And there's a large number of SUNY campuses, SUNY learning centers that are not, that do not have dormitories.
Right. It's a 64 campus system. 25 of those campus are part of the dorm program.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Steve, I didn't ask those questions before when we talked, and thank you. I was just going to say that you were kind enough to sort of, you tolerated my inability to comprehend for a while. And then when I finally caught on, Steve, I was very proud of myself. But thank you for helping me out.
You're welcome.
And Steve, Jerry, it seems like this is, again, one of the other, or similar to some of the other bonds we've looked at over the last year or so, that at the end of the day is really there to sort of help these universities or colleges sort of get through sort of the pandemic issues, right? I mean, that's basically, we're saving what, 45 million or a little bit more than that on the you know, for SUNY. Is that sort of the general sort of plan here?
Yeah, this really isn't a restructuring at all. This is just your typical refunding for savings. There's no restructuring of the debt. It's just straight interest savings of refunding the old bonds for new.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
Steve, you probably said this and I missed it, but the maturities of the refunding bonds will not exceed the maturities of the bonds being refunded?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting, just for the record, you know, SUNY did consider adding some new money to this transaction. They decided not to do that. So this bond issue will reduce the debt service that SUNY owes on its outstanding portfolio and will not add any additional debt to the portfolio.
That's terrific.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions or concerns, issues? Well, hearing none, can I please get a motion to recommend this offering at tomorrow's full board meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second, please? I'll second that.
This is Ken.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. All in favor, please confirm that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any objections? Hearing none, that motion carries. Portia, unless I am forgetting something,
No,
I
you
think
covered it all.
that concludes the finance committee, and I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
Romsky, Chairman Romsky.
Yes, yes, sir.
Before you conclude, I need to ask Sarah a question off camera, and then I'll come back to you to make sure we can finish up.
Okay.
Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I have just confirmed with Sarah that although Tracy Rowley was a finance committee member, until Al officially appoints, if he chooses to do that, Ken as a finance committee member in a full board meeting, he cannot second the motion. We need Janice to second the last motion to be official. Sorry about that confusion.
I think I seconded it. I thought I seconded
it. Jerry, the chairman, when we didn't hear Janice, the chairman actually seconded the motion.
Yes, yeah, and I second that
okay.
motion.
You're right, Ruben. Until Ken is appointed to the committee, he can't effectively second a motion.
Right.
Ken, glad you're with us. Hang in there.
Right. But that's why that's why I seconded. I seconded.
Yes, I heard you.
Okay.
And thank you.
Okay. Can I get that? Well, that's taken care of. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Janice
Yes,
McKinney,
sir.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you so very much. Second now. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, aye. Hearing none opposed, that motion carries. So that concludes the Finance Committee meeting for October. And I thank you all for participating. And I will see you all by way of Zoom tomorrow morning, bright and early at, I think, 9:30.
9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has any
Thanks,
questions?
Jerry.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have
Thank
a
you very
good
much.
night.